Looking for no's is a very interesting mindset for success. It's because every one of us grow up with the idea that when somebody said no, that means several things. One is they're saying no to the things that we're talking about, or they're saying no to us as individuals. Most of the time, we personalize having no's given to us, that it's not because of what I was offering, it's because of how I presented. And so in the result of that is that there is a personal rejection. I learned this when I was in Las Vegas working with a timeshare company. And we had all these people who never intended to say yes to buying a timeshare. They came to the program because some reasons the person on the main strip of Las Vegas Boulevard convinced them that this would be a good thing for an hour and a half of their time, and they get all of these benefits. They get a show, tickets to a show, they get tickets to a meal or a presentation, plus they already have a 3-night, 4-night stay in a hotel. And so people say, I'll just go and all I have to say is no. So when they show up, I was the one that welcomed them, and they were all over the place. Where's our gift? Why don't we get our gift now? And we said, well, you made a commitment to come and hear what we have to offer you. And so that's when the exchange began. And the exchange began if I would take a no, because people would say no all the time. But I had people who came, no intentions at all to buy anything. But by having a presentation that affect them on an emotional level, we talk to them about their travel. We talk about how much they look forward to a year, or do they have any travel plans at all. So most of the people would say, yeah, I have a travel plan. And then we say, how well is it put together? When you get there, because it's one thing to get to a place. It's another thing to have values when you get there. And one of the values that timeshare presented, that I presented to people, is here's one value. You can have the opportunity to buy groceries when you get there so that you can have a good meal, a good home, and because the place you're going to stay has a dining table, it has a kitchen, it has all the appliances, and you can bring your family with you, so you don't have to scatter out all over the place where you're visiting to get a meal. You can have a meal at home, and if you want to, you can have access to other dining areas that are involved in the resort of their choice. The other value we give them is that, remember, these are people who say no, but the other value we give them is people are dreaming about going to different places around the world, and they have no plan. They hope when they made the plan that they will be able to go. But having a project like this to be considered in their decision of saying no, we say to them, give us a place that you're interested in traveling. So they gave me Mexico or Paris or places. And then we show them where and what is awaiting them if they decide to say yes. And sometimes the emotional context in that is very real, and so people say yes. I have seen people who came to these kinds of presentation having no intention to buy, and at the end of the time when the value is exchanged and they see and experience firsthand the values that they were hoping on their own to get when they do it on their own. But now that they see the potential that you can have a bedroom, you can have a kitchen, you can have a living room, and you also have a place where if you want to, you can bring some of your families with you, because there are units of 3 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, and 1 bedroom. And so it's been an amazing thing. So I have had a chance to see it with my own eyes. People who came with the full intention of saying no and walked out with a $50,000 purchase. So sometimes saying yes is just around the corner and the no is an excuse. But if we take it personally, then it becomes personal and we take it too personal. And sometimes we go home and take this rejection with us to home because we took it personally. If they say no, it means that what you offer to them is not to their level of satisfaction. But there will be people that you will talk to that will say yes. I think I mentioned on one of my short videos my own unique experience of having to do this. I was talking to a lot of people and I wanted to do a 3-hour radio program, live radio program in the islands where I was living at the time in American Samoa. So I decided instead of talking to different people, I'll just go directly to the management team of the radio station. So I went up there and I said, expecting a no, this was looking for. But I said to the lady that was in front, hey, I want to offer you guys my time. And of course, I want to do a 3-hour radio program live from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. And that's a prime time for people driving home. And so I was expecting her to say no, but she said, when can you start? And, what is in the program? So I just told her what I was thinking about. I didn't even have a plan. I was just looking for no's. But it became a place where I had an experience of when she said, wait here until the manager comes. So the manager came and I talked to him. And I said, I'd like to do a 3-hour program, live radio program from 3 to 6. And they said, we happen to have open space. So they gave me that slot. And I was there for almost 6 months, from 3 o'clock p.m. to 6 p.m. Gave me an opportunity to share with the people. I had a program. I changed the format of my program. And I had people calling in from all over the world because they were listening to this radio station. I didn't know that. There were people calling in from Europe, from America, from New Zealand, from Tonga, and from all over the Pacific. But it gave me an exposure. So the no's are sometimes the key to getting a breakthrough. And if we don't take it personally, then it becomes something that is very powerful. Also, I learned this in my journey as a missionary because part of what we do is we go to different places and then we go and have what we call outreach into the community, where you go and share with people about the relationship with God. A lot of people say no, but there were people, one person said no, it's because they don't like what it sounded like. It sounded like religion to them. Other people say no for different reasons. I have never taken it personally. So if you don't take it personally, then you won't be hurt and wounded because people are saying no for another reason. And the reason is because what you're talking about may be something that reminded them of a bad experience from the past. So always be conscious of that and allow yourself to be comforted with the idea that you can say no to things too that people bring to you, and you're not saying no to the person. You're saying no to what they're offering. And so that's the reason why it's important that whatever we offer has value to us. Value in a sense that it's worthy of my time and my effort to share with people. So if they say no, it's okay because they don't see the value as I see it. But there are people who are going to talk to you and they're going to relate. You and I know that. That's part of life. not everybody like you, not everybody like me, but people have different tastes and different reasons for saying yes. However, we miss opportunities where what we have to offer can make a difference to somebody's because we're now taking a personal approach of every time somebody say no, they're saying no to us. No, they're not saying no to us. They're saying no to what you are offering. And understand the difference between what you're offering and who you are, because who you are is good. You're okay. Your intention, your motivation is to share the benefits of what you're offering. People can say no to the benefits you're offering, and they're not saying no to you as a personal reason. Unless it's somebody that doesn't really like you, then they will say no to you personally, and that's okay, because you can then walk away from there and say, well, at least I had the courage to go up to him or her and offer what I thought was valuable enough to give them a shot at it. That is a very, very powerful thing. Now, I also have done this myself in terms of when I have a need for certain things, when I have a need for an engine, my motor vehicle has a need to be fixed. I go around and I ask people. Some people are mechanics. One of my best friends is a mechanic, but he never had the time to give me for my car. So I went to other people and say, would you like to help me? And when they said yes, well, it's benefiting him because he now gives me an opportunity to be blessed. But it benefits me that I have asked. A lot of the times we suffer privately because we have no courage to ask. Asking is when you realize in all of your life and all of my life, what we have is rooted and based on what we ask for. I don't know about you, but that's true with me. As a missionary, I ask people to consider looking at the value that I'm giving to the world through my service. And then if they do, then I ask them if they can join in the financing of that project or financing of the specific activities related to serving other people. It's the same way the church works. The church does not ask for money. The church makes sure that they provide comfort, they provide direction, they provide fellowship, and they provide a place where people can feel at home when they come there. And when they feel that sense of satisfaction, then it makes sense for them to give into that. A lot of the misunderstanding of the church today is because there's so many elements of asking that is often done by bribing and manipulating people to give because of this. No, because you say yes because the value is important to you. And that's not to say that the value of being manipulated is overlooked, because some people, they rather be manipulated than being told the truth. So in a constant of life, constant arrangement to life, asking is good. There's nothing wrong with that. You can ask because of the value of what you're offering people. Sometimes in my work, I ask people to consider helping. When we went to church, we come out, I'm on the wheelchair, and I asked somebody who's standing at the door, could you help me? And they said, what do you want? I said, could you help my wife put this wheelchair on the back of the car? Because when we get to the car, I get in and my wife is left with a wheelchair to lift it up. Sometimes it's a 40-pound wheelchair, sometimes a 15-pound wheelchair, but it's hard. So I learned that asking is, and if people say no, that's okay. That's okay. It's okay. But I'm going to reach out to people, and because sometimes that's how we receive from other people. Sometimes you'll be amazed at what you expect to know, but they say yes, and then they give you the reason, and now there is a mutual exchange of values and ideas, and friendships. So anyway, let me tell you this. For the month of March, I am looking to raise my subscribers to 300. And you can help me with that by subscribing to the subscribe button below and share and like this video. My data from YouTube says that of the 100 people who watch this video, like this one that you're watching now, only 20% of those people subscribe to my channel. I know you like what I share sometime, and I like to have a chance for you to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you. And part of the reason why I'm asking for you to subscribe is that every time I upload a video, YouTube will make sure that you are aware of an upcoming video that's going to be uploaded. So that will keep us connected. Thank you so much. This is Sosenele out. Bye-bye for now.